Yes, folks, hello, welcome once again to Monitor Games and Collectibles. I'm Chris, this is my channel. Absolute pleasure to have you with me here today. And it's time for more G.I. Joe Classified Series news. We've gone from a dry spell to something to talk about every single week. It's only going to be a short one, but there's a couple of things that have caught my attention over the last few days that I wanted to just drop on camera and share with the wider world. As always, I'll run through the facts, give you the headlines, and then add a little bit of my flavour commentary over the top, and then invite you to the comments down below to share your thoughts as well. So let's take a look at what's been going on in G.I. Joe Classified this week, shall we? And first on the list, folks, we've had the official reveal of the Cobra-La Royal Guard. We saw the leaks last week, and I did a video on those, so I'm not going to dwell a great deal on this too much, because I've already, yammered on about it a great deal. But in an interview on the Toybook.com, whose watermark is in the center of these pictures, you can see an interview with Chris Cox was going on, whatever bollocks he was spewing out, but at the bottom of the article there was the reveal of the Cobra-La Guardsman, pointing out that it's going up for pre-order on the 17th of February at 1 PM Eastern Time, and it's going to be retailing for $42.99. So basically Tuesday, next week, folks, Royal Guard will be available for pre-order. With that reveal, we've had all the promo photos as well. So while we have seen the box with the figure in it through the window on the eBay leaks that took place last week, some of these are really selling the figure. And as is often the case with Shooting the Galaxy, sometimes when I'm a bit like, is it going to look a bit too plasticky? Are the bony bits not going to look bony enough? And I've got these kind of criticisms. They come along with some promo photos, and when I'm wobbling on the fence, I tip the other way. Although, to be fair, I wasn't particularly wobbling on the fence on this one, but certainly some great stuff there, selling the kind of world of possibility with the figure in terms of posing and displaying, and the range of kind of customizable, switchable parts and such like to bring it to life. That one there, it's moved on. I've got it set on side, so I'll point it out when it comes back around if it happens before I'm finished. But yeah, looking great to me, looking great. It is a deluxe set, so it does come with that inflated price point. And if you're looking to army build it, it's going to be an absolute pain on the wallet. But that said, if you're one of the crazy, movie nerds like me who like this weird science fiction fantasy shit, that one there, I love that one. All this kind of weird science fiction fantasy shit in my G.I. Joe, then this is going to appeal to you, I suspect, the same as it's going to appeal to me. So put it in your diaries, folks, mark it in your calendars, take your toilet break at the appropriate time if you're in work, 1 PM next Tuesday. Next up, folks, the Midtown Comics Larry Hama signing event with G.I. Joe Classified Series reveal took place yesterday as of time of recording, and as you can see here, the character that was revealed was Dawn Moreno. Yes, folks, there we go. Dawn is making her way to G.I. Joe Classified Series. My man Will, I know you'll be out there watching. You'll be very pleased, my friend. Here she is at last. You'll have to let me know your thoughts. But yeah, this is great. This is really encouraging stuff. As an advocate for expanding the line more into comic book related characters, when we look at kind of the comic book related characters that we see in the line right now, they're more limited compared to figure releases that they're choosing to do as a result of, modern reinterpretation. He uses the term reinterpretation lightly of original Real American Hero figures or Sunbow cartoon characters and DIC cartoon characters, whereas you kind of very comic book focused folks like Kamakura, for example. We've seen Zanya on the way, comic book character. They're much more limited within the line. So this is very encouraging stuff to see another comic book character. And Dawn has been on my wish list for ages, as it has been my brother from another mother in New York, Will's, as well. And just as an incidental side note, folks, Dawn went up for pre-order today. I've been and had a look. It's obviously the evening now for me after work and whatnot, but it still seems readily available over here on this side of the ocean, so I think you'll probably be okay over in the US if you weren't aware of that and you're watching this and going, oh, I better jump on that. So Dawn went up for pre-order today and is shipping to us in September. But yeah, lots to like, I think. I'm always a fan of two head sculpts, and we've got that signature helmeted look with the visor that folks will know and love from, the expansive multitude of Image comic covers that she appeared on in this gear, but also the helmetless one. And I think the head sculpt on the helmetless one looks okay. All right, maybe a bit flat and wide, but, we'll see what it looks like in hand. The uniform design is looking pretty comic book accurate, with the kind of core black uniform, and then that the padded sections down the side of the body onto the legs, and the red trimmings and stuff. How accuracy with comic book characters like this is obviously a bit of a challenge, because a different artist comes along, slightly reinterprets it in terms of the way they draw the character. It's also obviously a bit more expansive in terms of making small embellishments or differences as various storylines call upon it. But it seems largely comic book accurate. Some nice sculpted detail in there with the Arashikage symbol on the front there. That belt looks pretty sweet with a really interesting belt buckle. The accessory selection looks a bit light, but it's got the head swap, and it is the accessory selection that a comic book reader who's a fan of Dawn would largely associate with her, which is the double katanas, the Uzi and the silenced pistol, the suppressed pistol. So while it is a little bit on the lighter side, it's okay. It is all in connection to the narrative of the character for sure. As you saw from that first photo, they had Dawn there in hand. Larry was holding her up, and the Midtown Comics manager owner guy who was streaming it on WhatNot, kind of got in close and zoomed it up. And then a couple of photos started doing the rounds on socials for people who turned up at the actual signing with Larry Hama there. But it looks like it's all set and ready to go, with, like I say, shipping due in September, according to the dates that I'm seeing out and about in the retailers I was nosying at. One thing I did want to mention, in terms of a bit of commentary and sharing some thoughts, is that the WhatNot stream at a comic book signing did not land well with me as a platform for the delivery of, new release information like this. Now, there was a couple of reasons for that. Firstly, the whole kind of WhatNot setup in the portrait mode is obviously designed for auctions and comic book sales and whatnot. So something about the kind of tone and tenure of it all didn't kind of sit right. And the focus was obviously showing Larry, and he was doing some signings, and all the while they were obviously selling signed copies of the book in parallel to the active signings that were taking place. So the whole vibe of it was lacking a bit of something. They weren't showing off the covers of the issues and things, so it just broadly had a few kind of challenges in terms of what they were actually doing. But even then, fundamentally, that's the main purpose of WhatNot, is as this kind of auction sales site. And so when they then switched over to do the reveal, it just kind of didn't work. You couldn't hear BMAC very well. He wasn't mic'd up. It wasn't picking him up very well. He dropped a few snippets of information, like, for example, just as another side note on the news, the final reveal, the fifth figure in the wave, the current wave that they're rolling out for us to pre-order, the silhouetted character, I believe, is going to be shown at the New York Toy Fair on Saturday. So, but you couldn't really hear him. I had to go back and watch, somebody clipped it, and I had to go back and watch the clip that they did. So, as a kind of setup, it wasn't great for the action figure reveal part of it. In fact, the actual auctioning of the signed comic books lagged a little something for me as well. But as a platform, as a format of putting a reveal out like that, it didn't work so well. Now, thankfully, it didn't take very long. As I predicted when I mentioned this last week, the socials filled with, the promo images, and then the official ones turned up from Hasbro themselves, and they started doing the rounds. So it wasn't long before we could get a better half-decent look. So it wasn't too damaging, but I was just a bit like, what? And then I saw someone comment on a post somewhere like, when did this happen? What's going on here? Is this AI? Is it fake? It's like, no, it's not fake. It's a real reveal. It happened earlier on the Midtown Comics stream. So, yeah, I'm not sure it was a great avenue for putting a new reveal out like that, which is a shame because, Larry Hama was there. It's a comic book character. The focus is on a comic book signing. It was an issue that's kind of significant because of the new characters that are being revealed for the first time in that issue. So there was just a general lack of a certain air of pomp and circumstance and razzmatazz, I felt, which is a shame because I don't want to criticize, your friendly local comic book store. I think Midtown Comics, by the looks of it, are a banging comic book store that are doing a great job. I noticed they had some more signings going on this week, and big name people which I don't see over here in little old Manchester in the UK. So, yeah, just a kind of side note, as in terms of the delivery mechanism of this reveal, it didn't land so well. And there we are then, folks. You're now all up to speed with everything that I've clocked, and you've been shared a few of my opinions, but I'm interested to know yours as well. So please head to the comments down below and add your thoughts about the Dawn Moreno reveal, the Royal Guard, the doing reveals at comic book signings. Is that a thing? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Did you share my view, or do you have a counter view? All that good stuff. Just get into chat with me down below. I'm a bit behind on comment replies, I will confess, but I'll get round to you all, I promise. But in the meantime, thanks for swinging by. Thanks for watching. Hope you found that update useful, and come back around for another video sometime soon. All right, folks, take it easy.